All right, welcome back, everybody. It is time for set 2 here in Group B of the TLS3 round of 16. We are going on to Andrey versus DragOn. Now, I did initially say this would be a PvT because that's what I assumed these players would be playing. They are both race pickers, but DragOn favors Protoss and Andrey favors Terran. However, I was informed just before the game that, in fact, we will have Andrey playing Protoss and DragOn playing Zerg.
What? Why?
I do not know, Elegant. I do not know. I mean, Andrey, he plays PvT. I have no idea how he plays PvZ. And DragOn, he plays EVP all the time, so he should be fine with that. But I believe it was Andrey's choice to pick Protoss, so DragOn just responded by picking Zerg. Which is very, very interesting to me. Now, I did have a quick look, in fact, at the map statistics on TLPD, because I was a bit curious, what caused Andrey to do this. And I did discover that, in fact, in PvT, this map is 60% in favor of Protoss, whereas in PvZ, it's also is 60% in favor of Protoss. So by Andrey picking Protoss, he's actually working the map statistics.
Yeah. Map statistics are good, but if he's not very good at Protoss, then map statistics mean clean nothing.
The thing is, right, all these statistics come from professional Korean games, and those are on a completely different level from amateur foreigner games, so I don't think they make really that much of a difference. Unless
he thinks he knows a particular map aspect which is favorable for Protoss, like one specific thing which Protoss can do, which gives you a real advantage. Like one particular point you can take, one particular strategy that is just really, really hard to deal with. Well,
here's what I'm thinking. I mean, normally when we see this kind of weird race picking, because we have seen it before in tournaments, usually the player that picks his off-race cheeses. I mean, it's sort of obvious if you think about it, but I really feel like Andrey is probably going to try some kind of 2-base all-in or something. Maybe because there is the third double gas on this map that Zergs will take, but it is fairly open, so he might try some kind of huge like +1 speed lot attack, or even like a Dragoon all-in, like a 2-base Dragoon all-in. Try and wipe out that base, get a huge advantage, and then just take the game from there. Because I highly doubt he can compete with DragOn in a straight-up long game, so I really think it's going to be something like that.
Yeah, I think that Andrey is going to have noticed. I don't know. It's really, really tough to see exactly what he's thinking. But yeah, I'd imagine it's going to be something like the third gas base rather, is really not so simple on this map. And maybe he's got something kind of in that regard, because as Protoss, there are quite a lot of strong 2-base kind of things you can do, both against Terran and against Zerg. And that could be an explanation for why this map is weighted as it is. And so I would kind of expect that to come into play. I expect 2-base stuff off Andrey here. I do not expect him to want to go to a third.
Now, having said that, DragOn, is a pretty smart guy, so I'm sure he's thought of that.
I'm sure he has.
He must be aware that that's a huge possibility from Andrey picking Protoss. So, I don't know, he might try and play defensively or something like that. And maybe Andrey, being the genius that he is, will like quadruple expand with no gateways and just hope that DragOn goes major defense mode or something. I don't know. Well, it's gonna be crazy. Shall we go into the game?
Or not? Yeah, let's do it.
Alright, here we go at the bottom right position as the blue Zerg. We will have Dragon Pain. At the top left as the white Protoss, we will have Dre, aka Andrey.
He's always bringing out something wacky, isn't he? What a guy. If he gets like all the way through the rest of the TLS using kind of little statistical tricks like this and whatnot, then that's gonna be He's gonna be like one of those guys you see on the banner adverts, like, I won TLS with this one crazy trick. Click here to find out more. Yeah,
Learn this
Zergs
one
hate
crazy
him.
trick from Andrey.
Has Andrey broken Brood War? Figure out how
but instead
Andrey
of
did
like having to, you know, pay a subscription fee or something, you just have to send him your sister.
it. Yeah, exactly.
And for anyone who has no idea what we're talking about, go read Andrey's interview. It was absolutely hilarious. In fact, read his interview from this season and from last season. Or was it the first season? I can't remember. But read every Andrey interview you can find because they're all awesome.
And they are awesome, and you'll get a little bit of context on this crazy guy, and how that translates into Brood War as well. You kind of get a little bit of personality every game. You get this kind of calamitous, slightly amusing, but basically generally pretty decent play. And he's going for a nice standard Forge Fast Expand. So yeah, no kind of crazy cheese. He's not picking Protoss for the proxy 2-gate abilities or anything like that.
Where's this DragOn? I thought he was going to make a hat trick, but then he just left.
Yeah, I thought that as well. Andrey clearly didn't think so, though, as he took the probe straight into the Zerg's main base. Clearly not thinking that there was going to be a hatchery and not going for the block, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's actually, so Dragon's gone for Overpool, and he's gone for the Drone Scout as well. So Dragon clearly is scared of some kind of 2-gate nonsense coming out from Andrey. So again, you know, playing very safe, assuming that Andrey will try and cheese him, having picked Protoss here against Zerg. But we do just see a Forge normally here from Andrey now. He's going to build a gateway below it, which isn't going to be tight, so immediately the wall's a bit weird, although I do think the Forge is tight with the cliff, so maybe it's actually not that bad. And at least I think it looks a bit better than Freeman's was yesterday.
Yeah, I want to blame a slightly questionable wall on it not being his main race, but we both know that that's not true after seeing some of the crazy
this probe's
stuff.
Gonna lose. This probe
Yeah,
will
the
not
probe
win.
is going to lose, but yeah, I think Andrey's sort of on top of that. Drone chasing up, but no. He's just going to keep blocking for a while. Andrey now has the 400 minerals in the bank, but he is going to make the cannon first. That's weird. He waits till he had 400 minerals for the drone to leave and then made a cannon. That's kind of funny.
I guess he wanted to make the Nexus first, and then it got a little bit too late, and he saw the links coming out, so he's like, ah, screw it, I'll just make the cannon.
No, but it didn't. Yeah, I guess. I guess.
I don't know.
Slightly funny.
Maybe Elegant, maybe he has no idea how to play PvZ. I think that's a possibility.
How could you even suggest it?
I do not want to rule that out.
He must have some kind of idea. He's playing in the round of 16 in the TLS for like not a small amount of money, and he's up against DragOn. So you'd have thought that he would have done a little bit of homework.
Well, but then he's Andrey.
Then he is also Andrey, but it's so strange.
I mean, you know, he even in his interview, he was like, yeah, some Polish guy probably stole my replay pack to, you know, help his buddies out, but it doesn't matter because I do random stuff every game. See?
Exactly.
He doesn't know. Even when he plays Terran, he doesn't know what he's doing.
Made me laugh so much because I've always wondered, does he know any builds or is he just making it up? And this basically confirms it.
Didn't I even predict that? Didn't I say that in one of the games? You know, we were all like, man, Andrey's got like all these crazy cool builds that he's figured out. It's like so awesome.
We did
and then I was like, wait a minute. Maybe he just has a bag, you know, full of building names that he just randomly picks out of to decide what buildings he build next. And that's actually true.
One day he'll make the 5 Academy build and it'll all be really busted.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andrey. But I see a couple of legitimate reasons for his choosing Protoss. The other reason I can see is that he actually he does not have the best win record against DragOn either. Last time they met, he did lose pretty straight up. So maybe he just wants to throw some curveballs at his opponent here and just, you know, try something a bit different, because in the qualifier for this one he actually lost to DragOn 2-0, I believe. So maybe he just wanted to try something different. Maybe he's just afraid of Mr. DragOn here. And we do have the first Zealot making its way onto the map because, of course, DragOn has only made 2 links so far. I think he's just made a couple of extra because he may well have seen the Zealot as it's coming out. So he should be prepared for that. Yeah,
I just realized I really don't like DragOn taking this mineral only third. I don't know why he wouldn't take the double gas. I mean, this...
So exposed.
It's like, you know, you might say, oh, it's a little bit safer because it's closer to his Nashville. I don't really think it's that much safer. I mean, it's still pretty open. And
look at that ramp.
It's below a ramp, as you say.
Yeah.
It's not great. Anyway, the cell's going to get a little annoying position. They're only going to be attacked by 2 seconds at a time. It's not going to get taken down, though. Yeah, it's going to get taken down. Actually, I guess if you walk all the way down to the corner, you might have only been attacked by 1 Zergling. But it doesn't really matter in the end. Now, we haven't seen a second gas yet from Andrey. Yeah, he is going for Citadel of Adun, so he's going... But he's not getting +1, so what the hell is he doing? Okay, he just started his +1. His Citadel's about to finish, so if this is a +1 speedlot build, it's terrible because like the timing is completely wrong. I hope he gets the archives. Yeah, he's gonna get the archives straight away.
Okay, so that kind of excuses it. It's a slightly kooky build. Weird that we don't have a Stargate.
This is this like some kind of pure DT like power build or something? You know, like the yellow build, or not the yellow, the build that somebody did to yellow. Who did it to yellow? Was it Anytime? I think Anytime did it to yellow. Or in fact, Jangbi did against Zero.
We have a Stargate in the natural, by the way.
Oh, we do? Yeah, it's going down now. This build's kind of whack. I don't know. And his second gas was so late, so I don't know how he's supporting this really fast archives and the Stargate now. It's like, I have no idea what he's doing. Yeah,
I'm not quite sure. There is a plan to this. This is not. I hope this is not madness without method. It does look a bit strange.
Mutas are out already.
Yeah, the mutas are out, and he does have cannons coming in his natural and main mineral line. But you know, one cannon not too great against mutas. They can take that down if they think they've got a good chance of hanging around and doing plenty of damage after.
Man, these probes in the back are going crazy here. The mining on his main is so inefficient. I don't know what's going on.
Oh god. That cannon is just mannering him like crazy.
And now the valves are exposed and they have no speed because, well, he just didn't get it. So he's going to run back now. It doesn't look like he was planning any kind of 2-base all-in, which I don't understand. Does he really think he's going to beat DragOn straight up in his PVZ?
Yes. I can only imagine. Yes. And now instead of taking his zealots home, he's gonna run around. So he's gonna lose all of those zealots. He's using the time to make an Archon, but he just lost 7 zealots in one go for free to mutas, which presumably he knew existed because he's made 2 cannons in his main mineral line, one of which is making his mining hideously inefficient. So I can only imagine he knew that mutas were on the way. So this is very, 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 very weird. That's a waste of perfectly good zealots, which were about to become effective. Oh, he's only just started his zealot speed, even though he's had an archives for a long time. And that's even the timings are so weird that now his +1 ground weapons is going to be finishing ahead of his zealot speed, even though he got his stuff at really, really weird times.
Yeah, it looks like he's on Archon now, but as we can see, the mutas have this back cliff that they can infuse. There are a couple of coursers out as well. They have to be a little bit careful. They're going to have to use the Archon to kind of cover them until their numbers get up a little bit. In the meantime, we have a drone at the bottom left. DragOn getting ready to take this double gas base. We do have a probe in the main base of the Zerg. Somehow snuck in here. I have no idea how it got here.
Well, just DragOn even noticed it.
I really hope he builds a gateway here and makes DTs. That's like my favorite thing ever to do. To make DTs directly in the Zerg's main. It actually works surprisingly well on some maps if there's like a corner of the base that's unlikely to get scouted, just like on Polaris. You can actually just have a gateway there. But
there's so much room. Look at that, huge open space up there, giant.
Anyway, I don't know if Andrey is that crazy, but looks like Muta's going back to the main. There's 3 Corsairs. Fortunately for Andrey, there's no Scourge with the Muta pack, which is a little bit surprising given that DragOn saw the Corsairs being made. So he's gonna be able to ward them off for now.
Yeah, that's fairly easily dealt with. And the Mutas actually took a lot of unnecessary hits from the Corsairs, putting them on much lower health than they would otherwise be. So nice little bit of a break there for Andrey. He's now finally building up in his supply. His gateway explosion has happened, so now his supply is going to be climbing rather rapidly. So DragOn really needs to pick his timing. He has got a 4th base on the way up, but Andrey might just have a nice timing on that. That zealot leg speed is so late though. That's actually crazy. I don't know what his plan quite was. And he's moving out now with a tiny army and 2 High Templar, which I can only imagine will be easily sniped off by mutas if DragOn chooses to do so.
He made his 3rd and 4th Templar into an Archon, which I absolutely hate. I don't know why you would do that. The 1 Archon plus the Corsairs he's made should be absolutely fine. DragOn hasn't shown that he's going to get a bunch of Scourge and really try and dominate the air.
No.
So I really don't understand making those last 2 Templar into an Archon. It's just the only time you really need to do that if it's like emergency muta defense or if you're hitting some kind of crazy timing with Zealots and Archons. Like otherwise, you really want those High Templar. It looks like he might even think about double expanding here though. He's just taking the mineral only. He's also got a probe going to the top right base there. That could be an interesting idea.
It could be an interesting idea. This is a really, really kind of weird, fast 3rd base build. And it looks like he is planning to make a fourth as well. He's got 400 minerals in the bag. He's moving the probe around. No, it's just a scouting probe. And kind of he's moving back now. If so, leg speed kicks in, which it has kicked in, he might have a good timing on the bottom left-hand base, although there is quite a significant Hydra, a very significant Hydra force out. Yeah, he really doesn't have what he needs to deal with that. He'd need a significant amount of Storm. He does have 4 storms in his army, so that's not too bad. And with really good engagement, he might just be able to get a good handle on that Hydralisk army, but we'll have to see. His army is still so tiny. He will be able to get a 3rd base up and a 4th if he wants to, but that would seem a little bit strange at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he's pushing across this narrow bridge now. He's got the pro transfer over to the mineral only. I mean, I guess this is a decent time to start putting on a little bit of pressure. He's got to be careful though, because there are some Scourge now with the Mutas, so he's got to keep his Corsairs near the Archons and not chasing Overlords like they're doing right now. Although it looks like he's going to catch the Mutas a little bit, going to get a bit of a partial Storm off on them. Got to be careful not to waste those Storms since he doesn't actually have, he's only got the 2 High Templar. It looks like, whoa, there go the Scourge, taking down 2 of the Corsairs, only 1 remaining, and looks like we're going to have a bit of engagement here in the middle. There are Lurkers already though, and no odds. It looks like the Mutas all fall, but so do the High Templar. Although, no, it looks like actually, no, the 2 High Templar are in the back, so never mind. I thought he stole his own High Templar, going to lose this Archon in the front, but make a fighting retreat.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird decision to use the Storms on Musa, so I kind of see where he was coming from, but he could have probably prevented the High Templar snipes anyway, but he does get rid of all the Mutas. I'm slightly disappointed in DragOn that he didn't do any kind of harassment to try and prevent the 3rd base from going up, because Andrey did have a very small, pretty immobile army, and with just a couple of Scourge and that decent handful of Mutas, he could have made it really, really difficult for Andrey, but he just was very, very conservative. I think he could have done a much better job there of taking some control of this game and not letting that 3rd base happen so early. But it's a minor point, but I think it kind of is a little bit of a disappointment. We now have Andrey still pumping out of 5 gateways. He is building up a decent army. He's now started his Dragoon production. I think that's a bit hasty. He does not really have the speed zealot count that he'd maybe want to do any kind of serious aggression.
I think if he had like 2 or 3 more High Templar, he'd probably be okay, but with only 2 High Templar, it's a bit tricky to go for lots of goons. Meanwhile, he's got 4 Zealot drop going into the main. That's a bit random. But you know, it's funny that you mentioned like the lack of harassment. If you just compare how he used his mutas this game to how Zeke used his mutas against Freeman yesterday, it's like completely different. I mean, think about how much damage Zeke did with his mutas, and he made basically the same. He made maybe a couple more mutas and Scourge than DragOn, but not really that much, and yet he did a catastrophic amount of damage. And DragOn really didn't, you know? So it's just, it shows you what's really possible if you go for those mutas. Meanwhile, this Zealot drop, do a little bit of damage, get a couple of drones, force a little bit of a pull here, not really do too much. On the other hand, obviously, it doesn't really cost him that much, although he's going to lose his shovel, which is not ideal. Meanwhile,
look at that
army's going down the left side. He actually doesn't notice this base that's morphing at the 9 o'clock. He could easily force a cancel there. Meanwhile, like, he has transferred to this double gas at the top right, so he is technically on even bases with the Zerg, which is quite good for him. He's also macroed up pretty well, but a 20 supply lead. He's now breaking up onto the high ground here. Looks like the Zerg army was a little bit out of position. Looks like there's going to be a big engagement here, and the Protoss is going to retreat, though. He's not going to try and engage. He is still pretty Zealot heavy, so he doesn't want to really face those Zergers head on.
Yeah, but if DragOn gets a bit too impetuous right here, he could get in serious trouble. Andrey needs to use his Storm. His High Templar are getting sniped off. That needs to not happen. That Storm is very, very valuable. But yeah, DragOn's army not exactly huge right now. Andrey does have a good little window. Oh, Storm's his only observer.
Yeah, that's not something you want to do. However, he is increasing the supply lead, 145 over 108 here. Andrey is actually making a really good account of himself, and this double gas is going to be so key here. DragOn cannot let this stay alive for long. The Protoss is now on 4 gases. I mean, he's on even bases with the Zerg. This is all going to go downhill for DragOn if he doesn't do something about this very, very quickly. The 4 gas Protoss and PVZ is nothing to laugh at. Although Andrey's getting his army stuck here. If the Lurkers set up a position here, he's going to be walking into a choke point with Lurkers, but the Lurkers are all clumped. If he just storms the group of Lurkers, he'll be good, but where's the Observer? I don't see an Observer. Looks like he still hasn't replaced that one Observer that he killed. Oh, he's got one in the back.
4. He has 4 hanging around at his natural. I don't know if he quite realizes where he's rallied them all to.
Oh my god!
Over on the right side of his natural. That's eating up a lot of gas right now. Andrey needs to get those in some kind of useful service. DragOn's map coverage is terrible this game. Really bad. It's taken him a long time to scout that top right-hand base. Again, no harassment in order to prevent that base. And that's one of the Zerg's strongest weapons, is the ability to kind of run around the map and be annoying with small to moderate sized forces of units, which are kind of expendable, but are also kind of strong in their own right. So disappointing that DragOn's let that double gas base go up for free, absolutely scot-free, when you could have made life a bit difficult, at least with some kind of Ling pressure or some kind of Hydra pressure. And this base is going to be easily shut down as well by Andrey. So DragOn's going to be contained to these 4 bases. But again, that's no small thing because one of them is a double gas base. And Zerg with a double gas base is also a very, very scary thing. So, so Andrey, I think, needs to keep pushing forward, needs to use this supply lead because he has a very hefty supply lead, and he can actually get a great position, kind of locking DragOn out of his own natural expansion right here, if he just moved a little bit further down.
Yeah, DragOn's army is just seeming to be all over the place here. He's got random Lings running back and forth everywhere. I think it's because half of them are rallied and half of them are coming back. He's got a whole bunch of lurkers on the left side that are doing essentially nothing, but it looks like Andrey isn't going to press the issue. He's just going to pull back here a little bit. He's just content to deny bases. It looks like he wants to play the really long split map, you know, super late game PvZ, which I think is really fun to play and really really interesting. And generally on 2-player maps goes the Protoss in the Protoss' favor, but he has to know how to play it. You know, it's not very easy. There's a lot of things that can happen. Once you get to late game, the entire arsenal becomes useful. You know, you see Guardians and Defilers all over the place, and you know, random drops, and then you know, all kinds of things become useful again, like Dark Archons, and even Scouts can become useful to take down Guardians. So it's really interesting. But hold that thought, so you got a bunch of Lings coming in here, not going to do too much. That's
really important though, because those Lings were really important fodder for this battle, which is now coming up, where we're seeing a lot of practically undefended lurking. If Andrey gets an observer there, he can take down a lot of lurkers potentially for free. There needs to be good Ling cover in order to stop this really, really strong Protoss army from just bashing through and getting straight into the important stuff. Some lurkers coming down now, and he's trying to set up a decent defensive line, but I think Andrey with some careful micro, and that is not holding positioning Zealots in the line of fire, can actually bust through this if he just kind of takes time.
No, he's not.
Oh no! Oh no! Some of Andrey's very important units wandering through a lurker field and taking a lot of free hits, and he's trying to get some storms off in his lurker field, catching a few Hydralisks. His micro is not too on point. His high Templar seem a little bit wandery.
Man, Andrey's large army control here is absolutely dismal. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean here, but this is just really bad on all fronts. He's letting units run into the lurkers. He's not storming the clumped lurkers, even though he's got things there. He's just flying a shuttle directly over everything. It's a speed shuttle, so it just randomly gets through, and it's actually going to go drop this bottom left base.
Does he
just
remember
complete luck here getting this in, but he's going to drop the Reaver in the sunken range. He's not even going to pick it up again. Oh man, what the hell? Andrey, he's not even going to storm either. I don't know what's going on. The army is pulling back here. He's getting this mineral only, but Andrey, see, this is what I'm talking about. Super late game PvZ is good if you can pull it off, but this is not pulling it off. Oh, storm day!
And the shuttle dies to a storm. Oh well, he kind of did a good amount of damage with that, but the Reaver, I'm a little bit questioning of the Reaver. He could have stormed twice in that mineral line and then gone over to the 6 block, where there is in fact no sense of only waiting to kill the Reaver for free. Whole bunch more drones hatches out, and that damage is all pretty much instantly undone. So. Not too much.
I just realized Andrey made 1 million cannons in his main to stop drops. It's quite cute.
So he did. That's quite a pretty formation. You gotta give it to him.
I'm semi-okay with this actually. Doom drops in the main would be quite annoying at this point, although his army is kind of blocking him anyway. Oh, Plague! Catching the army here. Here come the Defiler shenanigans. So Andrey's now got to start switching up his composition here. He no longer wants too many Dragoons. He now wants us to go back into Zealot Archon, I think. Although he has to be careful because there's still a lot of lurkers on the field. It's a bit of a weird situation here. There wasn't actually that much, you know, big mid-game confrontations. So there's still a lot of lurkers left for the Zerg, and it's a bit tricky for the pros to deal with that.
I think that was definitely to Andrey's detriment. He needed to kind of limit that lurker count while he had a big army advantage, and he really did at one point, but now it's gone even. Both players are matched, and I think this is going to play out quite well in DragOn's favor because the map split is superior for the Zerg player at this point. So DragOn's going to feel comfortable if he can just hold on to what he's got. This position for me is still not unbreakable, but if we look further back at the massive drop the DragOn is now loading up, we have something to seriously be worried about for Andrey. He has quite a few cannons, but not that many, and he's making an Arbiter Tribunal as well, which is an interesting thought. And now pushing forward with his Reavers, it's down in the cannon field.
Oh,
he's now pushing forward with his Reavers, doing some good damage to that lurker field, and the big drop having just loaded up. DragOn is a little bit... Oh, and Andrey is going to waste his Reavers. Yeah, there they go. His big army control, and indeed his kind of smaller army control, is a little bit lacking.
It's everything control.
Yeah, his control is letting him down badly here because a supply lead is all well and good, but when you're fighting against a defensive position, you need to be efficient. And while that's not impossible to do, if your army control is bad, then it can make you look in a very weak position, even when you're in a very, very strong position. And Andrey is now shuttling units into that base, which is definitely not a bad idea. And it's something maybe could have done earlier. We're going to see a storm go down here as well. I think maybe that would have been better used on the Hydralist. There we go. We do have a storm go down on one single Hydralist. And he's managed to do some decent damage in there, but not anything too devastating. And he is finally getting that right-hand side base up as well, with a decent little task force of units to defend that in the time being as well. Continuing to shuttle units in here, I don't think it's the best idea. He's going to lose his shuttle. The shuttle does survive. DragOn's still feeling fairly comfortable on this big drop going across the map now as well. Andrey might have done well to switch back into Corsair production at this point. He's making his first Arbiter now, which is kind of funny.
And the Doom drop is going in. He saw the cannons, but he went for the drop anyway. He felt like he had enough Overlords, and he was correct. There are some reinforcements coming in. This Reaver could be crucial in the defense. Snipes the Defiler straight away, but there's so many units. Storms on a lot of stuff here. It's looking like there's not actually that much Zerg for some reason, despite the big drop. All the Overlords, I don't see that much on the ground, although it looks like a decent number of Lurkers under this Dark Swarm are going to do a good amount of damage. This Reaver, again, if it can stay alive, will help a ton in the defense. A couple of High Templar here as well. They almost have enough for a storm apiece. Meanwhile, the main army of Andrey has started going back, but now it's going forward. Meanwhile, he's taking the 3 o'clock base as well, so the map is effectively split now. There's just one random mineral only still left in the middle of the map. Looks like one Reaver does fall here in the main. Looks like the Lurkers are still alive. An Observer coming back, so this Reaver and the reinforcements should be able to deal with things. Looks like, meanwhile, Andrey is preparing to go for an assault at the front against a Lurker field. That could be bad, depending on how good his micro is. Unfortunately, he might lose his Arbiter Tribunal. I think he made an Arbiter, but he's not going to have any of the Arbiter spells. He does clean up his main, and it looks like, with the help of the Defilers, the Protoss army at the front is going to be warded away.
Yeah, so both of these guys kind of returning to an equilibrium there. Dre just a few cannons lighter, Reaver and a couple of High Templar lighter, and the DragOn a few defensive units lighter, so kind of trading off fairly evenly at that point. We have a lot of Lurkers and Ultralists coming over to the right-hand side. They're going to be met by a small army, but that army is not going to be nearly enough. Andrey needs to get over there and defend, but if he can trap that army sufficiently, then he is going to find that's a nice little move forward for him, and he can get a fair few units in one go right there. But I don't know if he's got the army count to really do it. He has pretty much exclusive Dragoons in his army, and that's not going to be too strong against what's coming at him right now. But he is coming in with some more reinforcements, and Archon there definitely going to need to weigh in. The only observer with the army does go down, and Andrey is now in full retreat with his army, and he's starting to look a little bit weak. As soon as this core of Dragoons goes down, it's going to take him a long time to really rebuild his army properly, but it looks like he does just about have what it takes to deal with those Ultras and to ward them away. A drone already coming in for DragOn over on the right-hand side there, ready to presumably make a hatchery. Slightly cheeky there. Not sure if he's going to get the opportunity. Wow, that's a lot of Zerglings. And definitely Andrey needs to keep those Dragoons safe for the time being. I think his control over this game is slipping further and further away.
Yeah, there's actually 4 Reavers at the top right that he'd do well to bring with his main army. The Reavers are really what's going to help in this late game engagement. But this is really good by DragOn to take this base straight away. This is the last available gas base on the map, this 3 o'clock base. If he claims this now, he's going to have a huge gas lead over his opponent. Meanwhile, the first Arbiter's out. I'm pretty sure it doesn't have any spells, but it's flying around as if it's going to recall. I thought it wouldn't have a recall, but, well, it's going to go do something over here. I'm not really sure what. Is he just going to, like, harass drones or something? I mean, what is he doing? He doesn't even have energy for a recall. Oh, is he gonna cloak the Reavers or something?
He was,
cool.
but now one of his Reavers is dying to soak the colony again.
He's gonna die.
He's gonna lose his Reaver. He's gonna lose one of his Reavers. His shuttle's gonna make it out, but that's a little bit of a waste of a Reaver right there. I don't think that was a superior trade, but this is not a good attack for DragOn. Going into the top right-hand corner, I think this is a terrible idea. With the Reaver and Storm ready and waiting for him, that army is just going to be absolute toast very, very quickly. Wow, Andrey had a hell of a lot of Storm right there, and that attack is easily dealt with. Maybe a slightly superfluous Storm at the end there, but that's all done, and that was quite expensive for our friend DragOn. And now we're going to see this base denied on the right-hand side, and we're going to see the far right base denied as well, I would imagine. Finally, the Observer comes into play, but DragOn's getting over there to try and defend it. I don't think he's got the units.
Oh man, he should not run up this ramp. There's 5 High Templars up there, but they're not storming. There's not a single storm. Why are there no storms? Oh my god, he had a funnel and he didn't storm a single time. Andrey, what the hell? It was the perfect choke point, and he used like 2 storms at the end. He just lost 5 High Templars using only 2 storms. He's got cloak, but it doesn't matter. There's Overlords overhead, so it doesn't make a difference. And obviously he doesn't have any spells. At least, you know, the Dragoons still do decently against Ultras and Lurkers, so, you know, at least unit composition-wise, he's not doing terribly, but this is some questionable play here at the end. Oh man, he's going in once again. There's so many Ultras though. We need some good storms. We need more Archons. We need more stuff. Andrey now just in a fighting retreat. He's not even fighting though, he's just running.
Yeah, he's just retreat. It's just a retreat. And for some reason, oh, he's got no overlords with him. Okay, now he has some overlords with him. DragOn deciding not to kill the rest of the Dragoons, but Andrey pushing forward anyway with a little handful of Dragoons. Just going to leave them out there to their fate, which is not going to be a pleasant one. And Andrey is just thrown away so many units at various points.
Reaver drop at the 3 o'clock though.
Decent harass at the 3 o'clock base. He was able to kill all the drones which were transferred over there, so he's doing a decent job of harassing in that regard.
Why is he flying over the Hydras though? He just flew. Oh Jesus! Oh my god.
This is ridiculous. What is happening? Andrey.
Why do I hear stuff shooting? What's shooting?
He's killing his forge at this front door. Presumably because he doesn't want the next armor upgrade. He feels like he's had enough.
331's good enough, man. We must have a second forge somewhere.
Yeah,
oh, he just killed a pylon in his main as well. It looks like one of his goons was stuck.
Oh yeah, he has a second forge in his main, so he's getting the armor upgrade. So yeah, he didn't really need that one on the front. Didn't really need to kill it either, but you can kind of see why he would. And he's moving forward again with another army, and he's got reinforcements coming in from the side as well. I'm surprised he hasn't got the Corsair force to come with his army, because that would be terrifying.
Come on, Reavers! Where are the Reavers at?
He really needs the Reaver support. Here they come with the shuttle.
They're not unloading! Unload the Reavers! Unload! Oh man, okay, he unloads, but he wins the battle anyway, despite not even unloading the Reavers. DragOn now in a bit of trouble. He's bringing in a lot of reinforcements, but they're a little bit late. If he loses his position, he could lose a 3 o'clock base. He does not want that. He really needs to try and hold on to this. I'm a little bit surprised there's no Nidus Canal connecting that, actually. Is there? No, there isn't. Could maybe do with a Nidus Canal there so he can get over and reinforce more easily. However, it looks like he is pushing the Protoss back a little bit, but we do have the Reavers and some Zealots coming in to take down this base while the rest of them engage.
Yeah, nice storm there as well from Andrey, but it looks like once again he's lost his impetus. He's going to have to pull back. I would really like it. I would really like it if he had a group of Corsairs with this army, because that would be just so terrifying, and it would be a tool to keep those overlords alive for very long. One arbiter goes down. No, the shuttle went down. No, it didn't. The shuttle's still alive and drops one of the Reavers down into the back. It looks like he's once again killed all the drones there, which he just keeps on doing. It looks like he is going to be able to power all the way into that base, and he's going to be able to take it down. Whether that was worth literally his entire army, I'm not quite sure, but that remains to be seen. He does take it down, and he does have still a moderately healthy.
Oh man, there's 3 Templar standing in lurker range.
Standing in lurker range. Are they hold positioned or something? They're just all going to die. He does not see it, and
he's going to save it.
Grab on with his shuttle, which does some weird kind of hijinks on its way out. He does take down a 3 o'clock base, and DragOn's going to be bemoaning that loss slightly. He's still not mining efficiently over at the left-hand side, and he's basically got all his cards now on the table. He's got the full gamut of tech up and running at this point, so DragOn just needs to make it work with what he's got. It's going to be a little bit difficult to get that 3 o'clock base back cleanly, but here he's going to try. Where are the shuttles going? He's going to need the shuttle. Oh, the Reaver's going to die very quickly if he doesn't get some shuttle support. The shuttles are gone. They're leaving the Reavers to die. The Reaver's just kind of wandering around ineffectually. A few Zealots going to come back. That's not going to be enough. Andrey loses his army again.
I don't know what the hell just happened there. He didn't have enough units to actually stay there. It looks like he was just trying to defend that base. Meanwhile, there's an attack in the middle only on the left side. It's finally been taken down here. Andrey did mine out a good amount of the minerals. There are some left, but he is going to lose that base, which means Andrey's only mining from the top right base right now. He's got very little income. DragOn, meanwhile, has the left side base, but doesn't have that many drones there. And otherwise, actually, DragOn is also mostly mined out. DragOn is just mining from the 9 o'clock with 2 drones and a few drones at his mineral only, so he's got very little income as well. However, he's got a huge supply lead now, 166 against 113. Andrey really throwing away his units, and now DragOn able to take control of this 3 o'clock base. I don't know what Andrey's plan is going to be. That 3 o'clock base is so crucial. That's the last free gas base, once again, on this map. I don't know what Andrey's going to do. I mean, he's got 4 Reavers. If he can actually control these correctly now, you know, he will still have a good shot, but it's pretty tricky. Meanwhile, it looks like a big attack preparing to go up to the top right.
I feel like Andrey's got away with murder this game. You know, the number of units he's kind of lost a little bit senselessly throughout it is quite surprising. But here we have a big attack going to the top right corner. We have an Arbiter in there. These Arbiters have just been worse than useless so far this game.
Oh, he's stasis 1 Ultra!
No. Oh, look at the size of that stasis crystal. That is absolutely boss. It looks like the Arbiter is going to go down. That does represent a significant investment. Yeah, the Arbiter is going to go down to 2 Hydralisks. Not sure how good that is. And all these Scarabs as well, they're costing money, which actually does really matter at this point. 25 a go, that really does stack up. And using them on individual links, probably not ideal for poor old Andrey. And he needs to be as efficient as possible at this point. We do have a Defiler dropping down to continue defending over on that right-hand side, because Dragon would really like that base. Andrey would really like that base too. A lot of Reavers landing down, but once again, wasting all their Scarabs on links. He needs to be more efficient than that. They don't cost much, but all added together, they do end up being quite expensive. But this is quite a scary Reaver force pushing forward. 4 Reavers is nothing to be laughed at, but will he get a Plague down on them? I'm not quite sure if that's what he's going for. And there we go!
Gets all of the Reavers while they're slow pushing, but even if they're Plagued, they're still not that easy to kill. There's a lot of High Templar as well, so many High Templar here. I really hope he uses the Storms properly this time. Meanwhile, he's pushing down slowly but surely.
All the High Templar wandering forward into Lurker Fire, almost pretty much all dying at once. That was just, that was prophetic of you, Sale. You hope you used them well this time, and then onwards they walk. And once again, the High Templar leading the charge. Andrey storming the empty ground in front of him. And once again,
what is he doing? What is he storing? Oh, Andrey.
Oh no! Storms his own unit. This is some weird stuff by Andrey, but it's actually sort of working. He might just be able to deal with this army. He needs shuttle support for his Reavers. So where? In speed shuttles. He loses 2 of his Reavers, 3 of his Reavers. Oh, and Andrey saves 1 of his Reavers, but probably that shuttle's even going to go down in the end as well. And the Reaver gets dropped and subsequently dies pointlessly. He did manage to get a Zealot over into the 3 o'clock though, which has once again killed all of the drones. So again, Dragon is not mining at that base, and Andrey maybe even with that Archon and those 2 Dragoons could push forward and kill the hatchery once again, but he's running low on minerals and low on supply. 69 supply right now for Andrey and 100 for Dragon. Can't help but feel that Andrey has made his last blunder in this game. I think he should stick to Terran here, Sale.
Yeah, this was some pretty dubious late game PvZ, to put it nicely. Anyway, he's picked up another random Reaver here. He's going to go try and do some harassment. He's got another random shuttle just chilling. He's got to be careful not to run into these Hydras. He loses the random shuttle, but he's got this one. He could actually kill all the drones here, which would really hurt the economy of Dragon. Oh god, this shuttle, fortunately, it does have speed. It's going to get away. Going to come over to the 3 o'clock, which is undefended actually. Going to get a few more drones here. So, you know, in this late game situation, he's finally doing some good harassment.
Oh no. And look at that, Reaver's gonna die. Here. Oh my god, the Reaver dies again!
GG! Dragon takes out Andrey in a really long, grueling 30-minute ZVP, but in the end it is Dragon's game. Oof.
Andrey, I question his decision to play PvZ. And I deeply, deeply hope that he does not do that next game against Technics. Every part of me wishes him to switch back to Terran and do what he does best. And that was not it.
Yeah.
Not it.
This could be really sad for him also, because since Bakuryu won against Technics, he might not even get to play Bakuryu if Bakuryu now beats Dragon. So he won't even get a chance for his revenge.
Yep. Yes, indeed. Neatly avoiding that with various bizarre circumstances. Yeah, a little bit weird. So we're going to see. This is strange. So now we've got Bakuryu going through into the winners match, and we've got Andrey versus Technics in the losers match. Andrey getting there by playing bizarre PvZ, to say the least. So this week is probably one of our more surprising ones. I think Andrey, yeah, he needs to really, really think hard about how he's going to play this next one.
You know, it's funny. This is actually really interesting because now it's Bakuryu versus Dragon in the winners match, which I didn't really see happening. So I don't know. Dragon might have a decent shot to actually just get out of the group 2-0, which could be really cool. Really was hoping he would be one of the players to advance here. So, you know, definitely has a shot. Meanwhile, Andrey against Technics, I don't see that happening for Andrey.
This is unfortunate because I like Andrey and I think he's a really interesting player. But why, Andrey? Why do you do weird stuff like that and shoot yourself in the foot?
I mean, to be completely fair, at various points he was looking pretty strong in the game. You know, there was one point where it was 4 base against 4 base. He had like a 20 supply lead. You know, they were kind of fighting for map control on the left side of the map. But then once it got to the really late game, it just kind of showed his inexperience, and he just wasn't able to control the big armies with all the High Templar and deal with all the different Zerg threats.
Yep.
I mean, late game PvZ is quite different from super late game PvT, especially depending on your style. So, yeah, it was not ideal for Andrey.
No, it really wasn't. But we could always see an upset in this next game. But if Technics goes out to in this group that simply, then I would be very surprised indeed. Dropping out to Bakary and Andrey, that would be a shock.
If he lost to Andrey in the losers match, I would just giggle. I would giggle relentlessly.
Yeah.
But before that, of course, we do have to go through the winners matchup, which will be another PvZ coming up between DragOn and Bakary. It will be a best of 3 right after the break.
Go back.